Okay, 1, 2. Yes. Works well. A bit too well. Okay, people, it's been a long day. Everybody's a bit tired, but I think you can take one more session, right? One more presentation, and then we are off to dinner, right? So, let's start with the short presentations. Thank you. So my name is Jari Varsaluoma. I'm from Tampere University, working in the All Youth Research Project with Guna, my colleague. And my background is in human-technology interaction, in the interaction technology field, and mainly focusing for how to, for example, design products in human-centered way, and also how to do user experience research, for example. I will tell a little bit more tomorrow when I present the Digirati platform. And then Guna, tell about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here, and I will start with also a short introduction. I am from Tampere University, and at this moment I am working together with Jari for All Youth project. I joined to this project lately, and actually what I'm doing here, Reetta didn't mention yet because that project is still ongoing, but it is decision makers research. We are studying ministry representatives and their perception of youth and youth participation, and specifically about e-participation, and I'm interviewing them, and actually part of those questions what I am discussing with them, we are asking also to you, and then we will see how they are similar or different. But my own background is from media and communication. I joined this project because it is youth-related project and youth participation-related project, and because my focus was to co-researching together with young people, and maybe that my approach or my perspective is my own as a researcher's perspective is a little bit different from those that you heard before. However, I totally agree with all previously described approaches, and I think that they are not exclusive, but still that my approach is more based on recognizing that knowledge and expertise that young people have, and looking for the ways how we could reach that knowledge and how we could use that knowledge. But once again, those approaches are not exclusive. It is very important to have that right-based approach and democracy-based approach, and at the same time to respect that knowledge that young people have. And my specific interest is how we can cooperate with young people in media education, respecting their knowledge what they have related to platforms, related to datafication, related to algorithmic issues in platforms, and how can they help to society raise awareness about those issues. But today I will talk a little bit more about it tomorrow, but today I will share together with Jari a little bit our so now it is my turn to do this one.
Okay.
Okay, here we are.
Please put on microphone.
Okay, okay, is it?
No, yeah.
Now
it is now. Okay, meaningful youth participation, and you heard already from Reetta that meaningful youth participation is what is a concept used in research, and when I joined to All Youth team, I started with preparing to decision makers interviews, and I did a pilot interview, and in this pilot interview first representative of ministries told she was talking a lot about meaningful youth participation, and then I was so happy because I got some nice concept about this meaningful youth participation, and then I started to read some literature and articles, and then I found articles maybe 15 or 20 years old where people were discussing about how necessary it is to make youth participation meaningful, and there are European Commission's study with a very respectable reports there about meaningful youth participation, but it is still a question what that meaningful youth participation means, and as our focus is on digital participation, e-participation, then how that digital solutions can help to make youth participation meaningful, but we are trying to understand what really that meaningfulness means. That's why we also asked you, and sorry if you were a little bit annoyed with that question, but you answered nicely, mostly to that question. But here is that one quote from policy representatives' interviews, and that what we heard there, that of course that equal opportunities to participate makes that participation meaningful, and what is the most important, that participation have an impact. And I heard it again and again, and one another thing that was repeated again and again, I have to tell that Reetta already mentioned it. It was about how to avoid only active young people in participation, but how to make to at least to give opportunity to participate everyone, and that meaningfulness was referred also in other policymakers' interviews related to this all young people as enabled for this participation. And yes, what I liked, of course, because I am now in human-centered technologies, I like this quote about that we need friendly mechanisms and channels to participate, and we really need to think. And before I was thinking a lot about social media as platforms for participation and seeing a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of risks, specifically about all of datafication problems, about all of algorithmical issues, and managing their informational flows, etc. So I thought it is very important to think about society-related solutions versus profit-related solutions, because all platforms that are today mostly used for digital participation, they are highly profit-oriented, and nobody knows, or just partly we can know where all of information from our posts are used, and that critical thinking related to that is very important, and it is really necessary to think about society-oriented solutions. And so here are your ideas about what meaningful participation means. I was really very happy to see very life-oriented ideas there, because you are very close to life and you are very close to reality. Then we could get some ideas that are not detached from reality, but rising from reality. And of course, young people are bolder in making decisions, and they have new and fresh ideas, and surely adults doesn't always know, and youngsters are our future generation, and they have their own opinions and want to make themselves heard. I was very happy about whose answers coming from your real experience. We could see that there were some answers like copy-pasted from digital sources, and it is good too, because it helped you to understand what public understanding about it is. But I hope that tomorrow, when we will do together some activities, that you will share everything from your real life, because it is so important to understand that real lives perspective. And we asked you about also digital participation, and we asked what does use e-participation mean for you, and actually it is a concept what we are trying also somehow to define and to understand what it really means, because it is such a wide concept, and we need somehow to ground it, to relate to reality. And here you can see what you are thinking. Yes, they are online platforms, social media, mobile technology, and generally internet. It is all about it. There are different digital platforms, and it is related to democracy, and it is very, very, very important. And actually, what we are doing in our project, we are working with some solution. What Jari will tell you and describe more tomorrow. It is Digirati, which is a solution what I also approached in my research with policymakers, and I can see that some of ministries in Finland already have used the Digirati, and they are satisfied with what they have, but there are a lot of things to be improved, but still we have something what is working already as an alternative digital tool to social media tools. So that's from me. So now it is your turn.
Can switch to
Yeah.
the next slide. So a little bit about the results from our studies, or our research team studies, when we focus on this creating digital tools and exploring the digital possibilities for youth societal participation. So this data is from this assembly study. So it was a gaming event, and I don't have the number here, but I think it was around 100 young people who answered the survey. And we also did an interviews with some of them, but this data is from the survey. And we asked basically, as have been discussed here, about what are the barriers for societal participation. And you can see similar things here as was mentioned before, that the top one is that there is the lack of interest. And the second one is then that young people feel that they don't have enough information available to participate. So this we also aim to highlight in our design of the Digirati platform. And then there's this reluctance or not wanting to. Of course, the next question would be, well, why don't you want to? Why are you reluctant? That wasn't available in the data because it was a survey study. Then there is this fear of conflict that was very much highlighted, again related to this creating the safe environment for societal discussions. So fear of criticism and aggressive discourse and so on, what can be evident when discussing in social media platforms. 20 people said that no obstacles at all, which was great. And then other topics, hurry, lack of time, age was considered for some people that I'm too young to participate. Why is that? And also nine said on that it would not have any effect. I would say that was maybe even a surprisingly low number in this sample, that only 9 people thought that why should I participate, because it doesn't have any impact. But still, it was there. Okay, then others, lack of forums, privacy, and so on. Okay, next slide. Some summary of our study results. This is based on the data we collected in workshops while we were designing the Digirati platform. We conducted many workshops with different youth groups in schools, in the activity groups, and included also these so-called NEET youths that are not in education or employment. And we collected data about what are the youth user needs for different digital democracy services, and we summarized them to these 4 categories. So again, there are some we have discussed today already before. So there are needs related to trust and safety was the first one. So we need to provide a safe environment for young people to discuss and participate without the fear of discrimination. Anonymity was a topic we discussed a lot with young people. Some of them were like really that, yes, of course it should be anonymous. And then there was the other side, okay, if it's anonymous, how can we believe like who is there? It can be some adults just faking to be a young people. So there are 2 sides on that. But still, it weighted more that it should be anonymous because it related much on the safe environment aspect in general. Familiarity was related that people are familiar with the platform. It also relates that it's marketed, or you know that your friends know this platform, so you can participate because you have heard about it. And also trust towards the service, that, okay, who is the provider? If it comes from government, do you trust it? I guess there are cultural differences already. We have discussed that also today. Okay, then motivation to participate. The topic needs to be interesting for young people. Competition could be one way to motivate. We discussed a lot about this kind of, how many of you have heard about gamification? Anyone? Yeah, lots of people, great. Very well educated here. So gamification was one aspect. I will talk about that more tomorrow related to Digiraati, but that like very much divided like people's opinions of young people too. But some kind of competition might be, it was brought up in the discussions, rewards related to this, and also adequate number of users and credibility. I guess this also relates to the trust towards the service. So if it's popular enough, there are enough young people there, then it's more motivating to participate. Also many people or young people mentioned that if my friend is there, then I will go too. That can be like one. Like so, I don't know if it's social pressure or, but anyway, a social aspect there. Then like really pragmatic aspect, how it's efficient and effective to use it. There should be like they mentioned specific feature, like way to search different discussions, filter out, some tags could be used there to support the search. Volunteering for upcoming discussions and activities. So you could like say, I'm interested to this topic like environment, and if there comes a discussion related to environment, you get a notification on your phone, for example. And then support materials, as what mentioned there already in the barriers that young people don't know enough. So there should be enough material provided them before the discussion, for example, happens, that they know enough to participate in the discussion. Okay, and the last category was need related to integration to governmental processes. So again, the important, there should be the real impact. Why should young people participate if there is nothing is going to happen? So this really must be highlighted. So when I participate, where will my voice go? Who will catch the discussions? Where will they be delivered? And then it was also a wish from young people that the officials would also actively participate in the discussions. And there could be some like experts of the field, for example, or even politicians participating in the discussions. Okay, so this is kind of summary of the needs that we identified for when starting to design some kind of societal discussion or societal service for youth participation. Okay. And you want to tell about this?
I can tell about this. This is a model which was created in all youth teams, and when I joined to all youth teams, this helped me very much to understand at that moment as an outsider how my colleagues are focusing. Actually, it was shown to me even in my job interview. I have seen this one.
Right.
And it made me also very much interested because it helps to understand from my perspective, very easy way that we can see participation or in this case we are talking about societal participation in whose three layers, and whereas that internal layer is related to user identity, experience of belonging, user-related aspects, and activity layer is related to all of those things which is related to manifesting participation and making it real in life. And external layer relates to platforms, to possibilities to participate, to decision makers and officials. And when we are discussing about how to proceed in our research, then we could realize that actually in that internal layer some research is already done in our team, and we were focusing on young users, and we know about their needs, and we have quite a less or quite a small amount of information about that external layer specifically related to decision makers and the way how they are perceiving policy making, how they are perceiving youth involvement in policy making, and based on this we did decision to interview also policy makers. Jari, maybe you can add something.
Yeah, maybe just highlight that in human-centered design or human technology interaction, is usually the focus is on the end user, like for who we are designing and understanding their needs. And in that sense, this model, this was created by Reetta Mietola, who did his doctoral thesis on the topic in the All Youth project. So there is the citizen in the middle, and it's the whole process, and these different layers in it are like viewed from this person users like for young person's perspective, basically. So that was the idea with this representation.
Yeah,
okay.
What we are going to do, we are going in our activities, we are going to focus actually on mostly about user needs, and we are addressing that internal layer, and when we are talking about activity layer, we are thinking about how in reality young people are participating there, and external layer platforms, it is what we are going to create together with you. There will be some task.
Yeah, is it the next slide already? Yes. So now we are going to give you the assignment for you for this week. And we have these groups. And before we start, we would like you to move yourself in these groups. But now, those of you who didn't give the permission to collect research data or don't want to be seen in any recordings, I suggest that you go into that corner where there already are those people who don't want to be seen. So you don't mind about this, we will make the group 8 from you guys. So we don't gather your data. But the other people, I guess we just form the groups that maybe the group 1 would be front here. So if you see your name, move in front here. Group 2 could be here. Group 3 in this side. And then in the middle, group 4, group 5, group 6 in the middle, and then the groups, maybe group 7 is in the middle in the back.
I will tell how